In the opening scene, we meet Valeria Ontiveros, an ordinary high school teenager with an extraordinary love for movies. She has a boring, predictable life, and for the most part, she is okay with it. One night she gets a text from a random number at 3 a.m., which turns out to be a wrong number, and things will never be the same again. Using a voiceover, she goes on to tell us about her life. She lives with her parents in a nice neighborhood. Her parents have worked hard and built a business from scratch. Her love for movies started with family movie night, and before long, she began shooting her own films. Her parents do not understand her passion for cinema, calling it an addiction instead. They were so worried that they even took her to a psychologist who suggested they try other activities. That started a long list of failed attempts, including but not limited to ballet, foxtrot, athletics, figure skating, and painting. She failed so many times at so many things that her bedroom had an entire wall dedicated to activities she did not succeed at. The room's decor is fun, you can immediately see her creativity. The LED string lights, the mirror filled with photographs, and the great wall of countless notes and pins all point to a teenager's room. When she finally decided to study cinema, they disapproved. They wanted her to join the family business, Ontiveros Elevators. Her best friend Regina picks her up for school every day. Regina is your typical popular girl in high school. She has super rich parents, who are rarely there, and a brother who couldn't be more annoying. Regina is always late, but things always fall into place for her. As she makes her way to the school, she accidentally bumps into Alex, a new student, spilling coffee all over him. She apologizes and offers to pay for it, but Alex is in a foul mood and dismisses her apology. Valeria is annoyed since she is kind and offers to pay for his spilled coffee. They immediately dislike each other. The story shifts to Alex's, where he narrates his life. We find out that he comes from a low-income family, and because of his stellar grades, he receives a scholarship to attend this prestigious school. He lost his father a few years ago and has always strived to abide by his father's teachings. Just like water takes the shape of the container it is poured into, so should we adapt. His father loved kung fu movies, and they would watch movies together. The school day begins, and we see Alex in the gym, waiting to play. He is invited to play basketball on Richie's team. After the game, Richie and a couple of friends surround Alex, telling him he is good at basketball. There is a passive aggressiveness to this conversation that makes Alex uncomfortable. Richie, being the spoiled annoying brat he is, takes a dig at Alex for being poor by inviting him to a party, pretending to want to know the world he grew up in. This riles Alex, who retorts that they grew up in the same city. Richie agrees and invites him again. By this time, Alex is annoyed and asks Richie to leave him alone. The boys do not like it and begin threatening to beat Alex. Luckily, the teacher spotted this, and all of them got detention. Meanwhile, Valeria is in her first period when she receives a text from the same number, apologizing for yesterday's disturbance. Her teacher catches her with the phone, and she puts it away. The teacher also calls her to her desk to ask Valeria why she submitted a video essay instead of a written one. Valeria tries to justify her reasoning, but her teacher won't have it. She gets agitated and shouts aggressively at her teacher, also landing her in detention. Richie is so used to detention that it does not faze him in the slightest, and he is happily making music, which is more like noise than a melody, as they wait for the teacher to come in. Valeria arrives at detention and takes a seat. While waiting for the teacher, she replies to the stranger accepting his apology and tells him she had a bad day. The two of them bond over being self-proclaimed outcasts and begin chatting. He, too, had a similarly bad day. He tells her about his best friend, who continuously tries to push him to do new things. They continue talking to each other about their lives, not realizing that they are sitting in the same room, one desk apart. The teacher walks into the class and is the typical quirky high school teacher, unlike the others. She explains to them that every detention, they will be doing physical jobs as part of their detention. She will decide when they've had their punishment and when it ends. Valeria tries to get out of it, but her teacher Rafaela is not having it. Richie asks for permission to apologize to Alex, but it is all for show. Alex rolls his eyes and accepts his apology. Later that evening, Valeria tells her family that she will come home late for the next few weeks. She does not tell them she got detention for submitting a movie essay rather than a written one because they would blow their minds if she did. Instead, she tells them that she is part of a study group. They believe the lie and are happy she is putting effort into her studies. They have high hopes that she will join their business, but she does not want to. They dismiss her dream as a hobby, constantly invalidating her desires. Her father goes on to explain how he had a dream once and how because of the dream, they now have the elevator business. Strangely, her father encourages her to follow her dreams and simultaneously tells her dreams are invalid and wants her to pursue his dream instead. She lies to her parents again by telling them there is a sleepover at her friend Regina's house, but does not tell them it's a party. The party she attends feels more like a college party rather than a high school one. They play all the usual games like beer pong, and Valeria is hanging around in the background, starting to get bored of these parties. She feels lonely and decides to text the stranger. The stranger asks her if she has a boyfriend, and she retorts by asking if that is a pickup line. The flirting is cute and believable. Regina calls her away, ending her conversation with the stranger for now. Towards the night's end, Richie and Valeria sit by the pool. Richie thinks she is super cool and has a crush on Valeria. It feels like he has had a crush on her for a long time, probably since childhood. Monday after school, Valeria and Alex are in detention, and the teacher divides them into pairs, assigning work to each team. Valeria and Alex get paired up, and neither of them likes it. They are tasked to plant tomatoes in the greenhouse. She constantly tells him he is doing things wrong and that there is a right way. He thinks of her as entitled and bossy. He challenges her to do things differently, which she does not like. She does not like that he judges her without ever knowing her. He feels he knows her type and does not want to get to know her anymore. Later that evening, she texts her stranger friend again. She tells him about her horrible day and the idiot at school who is ruining her day. He tells her about an unbearable girl in his school who is entitled and rude. She jokingly tells him that they should get the two of them together, not knowing that they are talking to each other about each other. They establish some ground rules for them to follow while texting each other. They agree not to give out names, addresses, voice notes, or pictures. She suggests that they get to know each other for real, and they call each other anonymous from then on. For the next couple of days, they constantly text each other about life, their fears of not being understood, and how they feel different from everyone else. They bond over shared experiences of not knowing what they want to do with their life. Alex is trying to fix his TV, which is an old box-style TV. He complains about the TV and asks his mother why they keep it. She laughs it off and tells him that the school called and they would send the application details for different colleges soon, and he promises to look over it. We see that he is not interested, but he pretends to be to please his mother. His mother wants him to become a lawyer, just like his father. The next day at detention, Valeria made up a list of reasons she did not want to continue the pairing with Alex. Her teacher tells her that she could always work with Richie. Richie is busy dancing, and Alex is juggling paintbrushes. Looking at both her options, she decides to stick to the one she's got. This week, they are to paint a wall for the school. They have significant issues working together and cannot decide what or how to paint. Alex divides the wall in half, assigning his side and hers. He texts his anonymous friend, sharing a song he likes with her. Valeria listens to the track, and she likes it. She also calls him a nerd for selecting this song. He accepts it as a compliment, confirming that he is not only a nerd but also the king of nerds. That makes her laugh, and Alex asks her what she is laughing about. She dismisses him and continues to paint, intermittently chatting with Anonymous. The two of them are standing in front of the wall they are supposed to paint, with their backs to each other while texting on their phone. Their teacher sees this and chastises them. She tells them that if they want to chat, they can talk with each other instead of on their phones. She looks at his wall and sees his artwork. She doesn't like it and makes a face. She tells him they cannot leave his artwork on the walls because it looks ridiculous and looks like a child painted it. He gets annoyed and throws a can of paint at her. She retaliates by throwing paint at him as well, which earns them an additional week of detention. We find out that Regina plays football, and there is a match between their school and Alex's old school. Valeria is in the crowd, proudly cheering Regina, while Alex is on the other side, cheering for his old school team. They notice each other in the crowd and turn away quickly. It's halftime, and Lena is talking to Alex. Alex points Valeria out to Lena, and she comments that Valeria is pretty. Alex laughs at this and tells her that she is empty brain-wise. Lena shuts him up the way only a best friend can. She tells him not to think too highly of himself because he has only gotten a scholarship, not won the Nobel Prize, effectively bringing him back to earth. The match continues, and we see Lena and Regina exchange glances. Regina's team wins, and Lena, impressed with Regina, wants to ask her out. Lena makes her way over to Regina, Alex in tow. She introduces herself to Regina and asks her out, while Alex and Valeria stand uncomfortably, avoiding glances as they wait for the exchange to be over. That evening, when Valeria gets home, her parents are in the living room, waiting to confront her, having found out about detention. And just as she predicted, they were livid. She tries to defend herself, but her parents do not listen. She gets a text from Anonymous. The chime of her phone enraged her parents even more, and they confiscate her phone, grounding her for the weekend. Alex is worried throughout the weekend because Anonymous has not replied to his text. He thinks she may have forgotten about him or doesn't want to text him anymore. The following day, Valeria's mom tells her they are going into the office and asks if she wants to come. She claims that she has homework. Her mom asks her to call if she needs anything, and she sees this as an opportunity to get her phone back. Her mother is not having it and asks her to use the landline. She waits by her door, waiting for her parents to leave so she can watch a kung fu movie. She rushes into the theater and takes a seat. The theater is empty, and no one else is around. She hears someone sniffing in the distance and looks around to identify its source. That is when she sees Alex, sitting a couple of rows ahead of her, wiping his tears. Over at Alex's house, Alex is furiously trying to fix the internet because he thinks it's his internet's fault that Anonymous is not getting his text messages. Lena reminds him she could be an old man with a wife and kids. He does not believe that. Lena asks him to go on a double date with her and Regina, insisting he goes out with Valeria. Lena tells him that Anonymous is not real, whereas Valeria and Regina are. She turns off the TV to convince him, and suddenly the internet starts working. He checks his phone to see if Anonymous has responded to his text, but unfortunately, she hasn't, leaving him confused about her and the internet. Regina and Valeria silently slide into the sofa in the living room, trying to get Valeria's father's attention. They begin their con by being nice to him. He realizes that the girls want something, and they put forth a grave what-if scenario, effectively convincing her father to give her phone back to her. She sees all his texts and apologizes for not returning his texts since she was grounded. Alex and Lena are in his room, preparing him for the party. Alex is unsure if he wants to go on a double date, but Lena convinces him. The four of them meet up and are forced to spend time together. They let their guard down and realize they have things in common. She tells him she saw him at the movies, and he tells her about his deceased father. They end up having a good time dancing and enjoying themselves. That evening, she goes through the videos of the night, reliving the happy moments. She is about to text Anonymous but does not know what to say. The next morning, Regina comes over and tells her that she saw something brewing between Valeria and Alex, and she hopes that the four of them will be a double couple soon. Valeria tells Regina that it is just fun and nothing else. At Alex's place, Lena asks him why he didn't text Vale, and he tells her he does not have her number. The next morning, at school, Alex is talking to his guidance counselor, who wants him to begin filling out application forms for college. He wants to try and fit Alex into a box, but Alex does not want to. Alex struggles to find his place in the world, where he does not know what he wants to do in life. His guidance counselor tells him he could be anyone, even Elon Musk. Alex would rather be a nobody and help people. The bell rings, and Alex gets to class. This time at detention, the two of them are clearing the paint off the floor they'd split the last time and are discussing their outing. Alex compliments her break dance jokingly, and she laughs. Hearing this, Richie walks over to them, her interest in Alex making him jealous. The teacher notices Richie chatting and forces him to go back to work. Alex comments on Richie being weird, and Valeria sticks up for him, saying that he misses his parents more than Regina does and sometimes acts out. She asks him to join her for a movie after class, and he agrees. The two of them get close, and she tells him about her dreams and aspirations in life. She explains that she has always loved filming because that is when she is in control. It's like a refuge for her. Valeria is trying hard to find anything as important to her as making movies, but she can't. She tells him about the time she taped over her parents' wedding cassette, and also broke the camera. She asks him about his dreams, and he tells her that he does not know what he wants to do but knows he wants to help people and change the world. The only reason he works hard at school is that he promised his father that he would. He offers to fix her camera, and she invites him home. He likes her room, admiring her wall of shame. He helps her fix the camera and records her as she talks about why she enjoys filming so much. Alex stays for dinner, and her parents tell them the story of the elevators again and ask him what he wants to do after high school. Sensing his discomfort, she tells them that Alex has to go and saves him from having to answer questions. She texts Anonymous, asking how anyone could know if they liked someone. They talk to each other, unknowingly about each other. They are jealous of the new person in each other's lives but do not show it. They confirm that if they like other people, they should go for it because the two of them are just friends. The next day at detention, she is eagerly waiting for him to show up. They are uncomfortable with each other, so they reach out to their anonymous texts. He tells her that he is not sure about the girl he told her about because he does not like her the way he likes Anonymous. She urges him to get to know her. Alex and Valeria go to a karaoke party where Valeria is forced to get up and sing. Alex pushes her to sing, and she starts hesitantly, slowly gaining confidence. By the song's end, she enjoys herself and invites Alex to sing. They have a good time with each other and continue the party at Regina's house. They share a sweet moment underwater in the swimming pool while Lena kisses Regina underwater. The group is drinking and enjoying themselves. She is pretty drunk and grabs Alex, telling him he has attractive features and kissing him on the mouth out of nowhere. Everyone else is staring at this interaction, wondering what is going on. She feels free and decides that the group needs to hear more of her off-key singing of the national anthem, no less. In the middle of her drunk performance, she pukes. The next day, she wakes up with him on the pool chairs, and he tells her all the antics she was up to the previous night. He lovingly tells her that after she puked, she ran around screaming that it was the best night of her life, and then she started crying because she was hungry. Then she cried because she was sleepy, then cold. But he adores her and tells her he had a great time. His feelings for her begin to strengthen, and he is conflicted. Alex gets a call, and he has to leave. Not wanting to leave her company, he asks her to join him, promising to make her the best chilaquiles ever. She joins him. He helps a neighbor with her internet, fixing the router, modem. Valeria finds out that he provides free internet to everyone in his building and helps out wherever he can. She finds this extremely sweet, and her feelings for him deepen. The internet returns on its own, and they head to his house, where he makes her chilaquiles. She eats with gusto, really enjoying it. He tells her about the internet problems that the building is facing. He believes another electrical device is causing interference but cannot identify what. She meets his mother, who is happy to meet her too. Valeria is on her way home, reminiscing about last night. She texts Anonymous, asking him how last night was. He tells her it was fun but wishes she was with him. She tells him that if that were the case, all he had to do was invite her. Lena is spending time with Regina and her brother, discussing the possibility of Alex and Valeria getting together, and Richie is even more jealous. The next day at detention, Alex and Valeria show off the tomato plant they've grown together, and their teacher calls it horrendous. She goes on a rant about learning to follow your dreams and to think about the bigger things in life, while Valeria and Alex look on in confusion. She claims that they are done with detention. Alex asks her out to get something to eat. She mentions that she has to pick up a book and asks him if he wants to join. He agrees. In the library, they fool around, just having a good time, pulling books off the shelves, playing with robots, and playing table tennis. He tells her about his dream of joining a group that focuses on bringing the internet to places that don't have any. He also tells her his mother would disapprove. Valeria urges him to talk to his mom so that she would understand. But he counteracts this by telling her that she needs to tell her parents that she wants to study cinema. Both of them bond over the fact that they want to do different things than expected. She reminds him that her parents already know and have already said no. She quickly kisses him on the cheek, leaving him speechless. When he reaches home, he gets a text from Anonymous, and she tells him that she met someone cool. He is shocked and tells her that he is sad about it. Alex and Valeria struggle to sort out their feelings for each other and discuss this with their best friends. Lena tells Alex that he has no idea who Anonymous might be and that he is better off with a real-life person like Valeria. At the same time, Regina tells Valeria the same thing. Lena and Regina are trying to convince their friends to forget about the virtual person because they each have a live person in front of them. Lena begs Alex to choose Vale so they can all go to prom together. Valeria gets a text from Anonymous, and she is thrilled. She decides to meet him but is afraid he won't like her. Finally, she plucks up the courage and asks him out. They decide to wear clothing that the other person can recognize. He would wear his torn jumper, and she would wear a ridiculous red hat. The twist in the movie comes in the form of Richie cornering Alex in the school hallway, warning him about Valeria. He tells him that no one can stay with her for long because she is trouble. He contorts reality so much that Alex questions who Valeria is in the first place. The next day, she is waiting for Anonymous at a cafe. Alex walks towards the coffee shop, and through the window, he sees that Anonymous is none other than Valeria. He is confused and shocked. With Richie's words forming a worm loop in his head, he thinks this was a game to her, and that she set the whole thing up, knowing that he was Anonymous. He remembers Richie's advice and decides not to go inside. Valeria is heartbroken and cannot understand why Anonymous would ditch her. The next morning at breakfast, Alex is sulking at the dining table, and his mother asks him what is wrong. He tells her that she is not the person that she seems. He tells her about Valeria sending him text messages as someone else and that it could be a prank. His mom urges him to talk to her about it, but in typical teenage fashion thinks he has all the answers and decides to ghost her instead. Valeria checks in with him, wanting to see if he is okay, but he does not respond. Valeria is glued to her phone, waiting for him to text back. Regina tells Valeria that he will not reply and that she should let him go. The next day at school, Alex sees Valeria talking to Richie and doesn't like it. He walks away from them without saying anything. She turns to her detention teacher for advice, who tells her always to follow her dream. Valeria explains to her teacher that her parents do not want her to pursue filmmaking. Her teacher assures her that it is her life and that she has every right to do as she pleases. That evening, she asked her parents to allow her to make one more video, to show them how she felt about movies. She tells them it is about their family business, and they agree. She spends the next few days working hard, filming her parents for the video, preparing vision boards and editing the movie. She meets Alex in school, and the conversation is strained. She doesn't know what she did to make him behave that way, but her insecurities get the better of her, and instead of confronting him, they exchange small talk. She hands him a flash drive with her movie, wanting him to watch it. Alex does not want to and tells her they do not need each other. Finally, Alex reluctantly agrees. She asks him about prom, and he tells her he will not attend. She is watching a movie alone in the theater, thinking about Alex and Anonymous. She is upset and is talking to her friend who runs the movie theater, who tells her that this is life. She talks to him about Alex and Anonymous. He consoles her and tells her that, in time, everything will seem funny. It is the day of the prom, and Valeria is getting ready, unable to decide what to wear. Valeria cannot bear the silence from Anonymous anymore, and she sends him a voice note, breaking the rules she set initially. Alex is at his house, not having internet access again. He opens his laptop to work on assignments when he decides to plug in the flash drive. He watches her movie and is astounded and impressed with it. Alex arrives at Valeria's house and asks her family to watch the video. Valeria emerges from the room, looking stunning, and Regina tells her that Alex dropped by. Her parents insist on watching the movie, and she agrees. The video begins with her father telling them he had a dream and followed it. The video goes on to show her dreams to them. She tells them that it feels awful when someone calls their dream a hobby. With her creativity and filmmaking skills, she convinces them that this is not just a hobby. Her parents feel lousy that they never heard her side of the story. They tell her that the elevator story is a lie. They tell her they built this company for her to ensure she could chase her dream. They finally agree to let her study filmmaking, considering the possibility of an Ontiveros studio. Alex returns home to find his mom watching TV. She asks him why he is not at prom, and he tells her he doesn't want to go. As usual, there is no internet, and as soon as she turns off the TV, the internet starts working. Alex figures out that the TV is interfering with the internet and asks his mother to get rid of the TV. At prom, Valeria misses Alex. Even though she got what she wanted and could attend film school, she desperately wished Alex was part of her night. Back in Alex's room, he receives a voice message from Anonymous. She explains that she does not know why he did not turn up or why he ghosted her. She thanks him for being her friend and allowing her to be exactly who she is. She tells him about many things ending today, their friendship, one of them. She also tells him about Alex, the boy she is in love with, who doesn't love her back. Alex realizes that she, too, had no idea that the person she was talking to was himself. He decides to go to prom to tell her how he feels. Alex texts her that he is on the way without realizing he is texting her as Anonymous. This worries her because she does not know who he is and might be a random creep. She tells Regina, who is worried for her. Richie grabs a couple of boys and heads out to take care of Anonymous. Alex comes to the prom looking for Valeria, but Richie does not like this and tries to stop him from entering, saying Valeria does not want him around. The atmosphere turns serious while Richie tries to cause a scene. Valeria sees him wearing the torn jumper and realizes that he is Anonymous. She recollects all their conversations, smiling at everything they had unknowingly told each other about each other. They finally get to see each other, and he apologizes profusely. She tells him about how she always wished that Anonymous would be Alex. They look into each other's eyes and kiss, knowing they have finally found each other. The movie ends with Valeria narrating her thoughts about life. She says that there are people you meet by chance and those who were meant to be part of your life. Either way, they shape your life in some way or the other. Years later, we see Valeria achieving her dream, and Alex is in a remote area, repairing the internet for those who have none. They still text each other, choosing to keep each other's name as Anonymous.